Hey, welcome everybody. It's good to see you here today on the Soul Report. We're looking forward to having an amazing guest here today. James Twyman is a best-selling author. He's an interfaith minister. He has been invited to places by world leaders, and he has an amazing take on the world. So, welcome to the Soul Report, where we are going today to have guests on our show that inspire, uplift, and are thoughtful thinkers, if you will, from the world over. We're hoping to explore a myriad of ways that these remarkable individuals motivate and assist others through their modality. So whether you're seeking to sit back and relax, or you're looking for a spark of inspiration or something that's a deep transformational wisdom, you're in the right place. So let's discover together the souls that are shaping our world. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas James Cottrell, and here today is my guest. Welcome to the show, James Twyman. I don't know, maybe I love you. What's your take on that? That's an interesting title for a book.
It is an interesting title. Well, let's begin by saying we live in an interesting time, and that's why we have an interesting title for a book. Sort of reminds me of the great beginning of the Charles Dickens book where he wrote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." And that, I think, applies to our time. We live in a very polarized time. I don't think people will argue with that. People are being pulled from one side to the other, and sometimes the tension of a rubber band is greatest right before it snaps. And I think we have a great opportunity before us today. And so the subtitle maybe explains it a bit better. Once this is the book, I don't know, maybe I love you, but the subtitle is How to Depolarize Your Family, Business, Country, and the World. How do we come back together? So many families and friends and co-workers are being torn apart today because they don't necessarily agree with one another. Maybe they voted for someone else, or maybe they have different feelings or attitudes about what's happening in the world or in our country. And for a while now, this has been a reason to say, well, then you are no longer in my life. And many of the lessons that I talk about here in this book are things that we learned in kindergarten about being kind and listening to one another. And so let me tell you really quickly how the title of the book came about. And I think that will explain a bit. I was speaking to my younger brother on the phone, I think toward the beginning of COVID. I think we may have been speaking about the pandemic. And my brother, who he's younger, so he loves to get the best of me, I think was winning the argument. So I just said three things to him that changed the direction completely. I said, Kenny, I don't know. Maybe I love you. And later he said to me, I don't know how to continue the argument when you say that. And I said, that's the idea. We don't have to argue. We just need to listen to one another. Because the truth is, I don't know. I have my opinion, you have your opinion, but neither one of us knows for sure anything. Maybe if I listen to you, maybe if I open up a little bit beyond my own idea of being right, maybe I'll learn something. But the foundation of it all is that we have to love each other. And if we do love each other, then the miracle could happen. So the book all came from that one conversation with my brother and helped me to understand ways that I can help depolarize in my own life and world and how we can all do the same.
Well, that's an excellent point. Uh, all too often, social media, uh, websites, chat rooms, all kinds of derogatory media are attempting to provoke people, in my opinion. People are getting angry. People have strong opinions. People are passing on comments that they really haven't researched. They don't know what the facts or the truth is, but they are angry. And if you have an opinion that's different or contrary to theirs, they respond in kind. They are ready for a fight. So I don't know is an excellent title. I say that to myself all the time. I don't know. I don't know. The smarter I get, the older I get, the more I know I don't know. So the title of your book, I Don't Know, Maybe I Love You, and the mission of attempting to depolarize people, it's a pretty hard job ahead of you. But it's exactly where do you go from here when somebody says red is red and somebody else says no, red is green, and that person won't change their mind. It's
Well, I'll tell you
how does
what
it
it
stop?
is. It's the real pandemic, which is the pandemic of needing to be right. Everyone thinks that they're right, and therefore we don't listen to each other. And as we said before, I have my opinion, you have your opinion, and they may be similar or they may be different from each other. But the truth is, if I am locked in to the need, the demand that I'm right about any given topic or any idea, then I have immediately shut you out rather than opened up the possibility for something deeper, a miracle to occur. Someone who maybe voted in a very different direction than I voted, or believes something very different than what I believe. It doesn't need to be a reason to force that person out of my life because I need to be right. What if I let go of the need to be right and just opened and listened to your opinion, your maybe curiosity. I think that's something I talk a lot about in this book is the need to be curious, to listen to someone and ask questions like, well, how did you come to that opinion, or what has happened in your life that made that important? Uh, it's amazing how when you ask a question like that, it just opens up the dialogue and opens up the possibilities of joining rather than excluding. So, yeah, we live in a very interesting time, but it may seem difficult. But I'm not really sure if it is difficult if we just follow these very simple things that we learned when we were very young. Listen to one another, be kind, respect each other. Just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean they're a bad person. If we can begin to live from that place and remember those rules that we learned very young, then something like, this book won't even be needed because we're solving the problem from the only place that it can be solved, which is by loving and respecting each other.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly. I think people are looking for reassurance and confidence in how to do that. And that, like when you listen to somebody who has a different opinion, you might learn something. They might have some information that you aren't aware of. But um, I guess the tipping point, the fulcrum, if you will, is getting past that, not to leap into an argument and how to say to somebody, well, you could be right. I mean, that's how I get out of things myself when people have strong opinions that I know in my heart they're absolutely wrong because they're different than my opinions. Ha ha ha. So I just say, you may have a point, or I think you're right. The book and the topic is so timely. I understand that world leaders and peace organizations have invited you to talk or to present what this amazing concept, which is so simple. Think back when children meet strange children, like, I mean, strangers to each other, they'd have no problem sitting down and talking and playing right away.
Hmm.
So why can't we as adults do that? But
True.
so when you come into situations like attempting to educate people, I think number one is how to de-escalate yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I always say the only person who needs to learn this is me. Because if I can really watch my own mind and notice the times when I am demanding that I'm right about something, or the times when I am pushing you out of my life because we don't agree, if I can notice that in me, well, then I can begin to vibrate that. There's a prayer that many people have heard called the Prayer of Saint Francis, and it begins with the words, "Make me an instrument of your peace." So I am also an Episcopal priest and I'm a Franciscan. I belong to an order of Franciscans. And so for us, being an instrument of peace is so important. You mentioned that I've been invited by many leaders of countries to often situations of great conflict and even during great wars. For example, I was invited by Saddam Hussein back in 1998 to come to Baghdad to perform a peace concert and many other places. And what I've always found in all of these situations are people just like you and me who want peace, who are loving their families. And the truth is, we have so much more in common than we do different. And if we can lean into the things that we agree with or the things that we have in common, then the things that we don't necessarily agree on take lesser importance, and we can come to a place of harmony so much more quickly.
That's well said. I think the idea is uh, looking within. We see the world from the way we think or feel about the world, but the bigger picture is always out there. If you have a big window, there's a little speck on it. What's the first thing you see? The speck. You don't see the big vision. So as you approach people, how would you start de-escalating or getting to depolarize people?
Well, the first step is to simply listen. Usually, what happens for most of us, if I'm with someone and they express something that I don't agree with or something that I'm against, usually what we do is we jump right in and we say, Stop, I don't agree with that, you're wrong, whatever it may be. So, the first step maybe is catching that, realizing that my own defense, my own wall has just gone up. And if it goes up any higher, it's not going to bring us any closer together. It's going to push us further apart. So the first step is going to be to just take a deep breath and pause. Can I tell you a story about the pause that changed the world? That's actually the pause that saved the world. There,
Ah,
there there was a moment, I think it was in the very early 80s, when someone did exactly what we're talking about here, and it saved the world from being destroyed. Have you ever heard this story?
I have, but we'll be right back after this.